attack as the National Unity Platform. You know, many of our leaders are being raided, arrested. We cannot tell who's going to be next. These things are going on everywhere. You wake up and you hear now someone has been raided, our comrades are being abducted day and night. So it's a very, very tough time in the National Unity Platform, but as I say, tough people outlast tough times. So we're trying to remain strong, to continue doing what we have to do. It's a shame that after Museveni rigged the election and declared himself winner, now these are the things he's doing. If you say you got 71%, as he's saying, why are you scared of someone who you claim got 21%? Of course, he knows that he's not legitimate. He's fighting with that question of legitimacy. Because if you know that you're popular, as he wants everyone to believe, why are you going after people, abducting them, arresting them, and doing all sorts of crazy things? So yeah, and as our party, of course, we are looking at different actions, including legal actions and all that. But people need to know that those things in the context of Uganda do not really carry so much weight. All of you saw what happened yesterday when at Tale centers, the military took over elections and they were just declaring candidates of NRM with reckless abandon. Our candidate in Wakiso had over 30,000 votes ahead of the NRM candidate. These guys declared the NRM candidate. In Mugono, they declared our candidate winner after the NRM and military people complained. And now, 2 later, they announced the NRM candidate as winner. And that happened in many other places, councillor races and all that. So I think what the people of Uganda need to do is to realize that we are on our own, and our message has been we must come out and reclaim our country before it is too late. Basibo ne banyabo, kigenda maaso muna mukiraba obulumbaganyi amagye we gakoze wakawa president waffe nefujo lyonna lye bakozeeyo tulivumirira naye tetukoma kulivumirira wabula okusaba nti ffenna tuveeyo tulwanirire eggwanga lyaffe tubeere nga tusobola okuvunika eno embeera eriwo kati ku ssaawa zino. Museveni agamba yawangula akalulu era neyeewa ne 71%. Kakati bw'oba ogamba nti waganja nnyonnyonya abantu ne bakuwagira lwaki okola bino ebintu ebyokuwamba abantu baffe, okusiba abantu baffe abatali musango, okukijjanya abantu baffe buli kiseera, buli lunaku kati tuzi okukanga waliwo gwe bakutte, waliwo gwe basibye, waliwo gwe bakoze eki, efujjo lyonna lyonna muliraba. Of course bonna babikola kubanga balwana n'ekigambo kye bayita legitimacy mu luzungu. Bakimanyi nti bannayuganda tebabalonda kifola abakola bino byonna. Kati bakitaniza military operation, mulabye olunaku lwa gye bate ku Tale centers ez'enjawulo nga balangirira abantu ba NRM, abantu baffe bawangudde n'ebirala byonna. So tujja kukola kitwetaaga kukola mu mateeka, okugenda mu kkooti n'ebirala, naye ate ffenna tukimanyi kati nti ekyo si kyekisinga obukulu. Ekisinga obukulu okwelwanawo netwetaasa mu mbeera eno gitulina.
At around 10:30, I had my dinner and closed the house because I am alone at home. The people that we live with in our home, each one of them retreated to their place of abode. So when I switched off the lights in my bedroom, I switched on my side bed light to read at least 2 pages of the book I was reading. Then our askari called me. He told me these men have broken again, but this time they are more in number and they are not in the same uniform as that group that normally comes. So he said there are many, just prepare. So I asked him where he was, and he told me he was in a safe place. Our place is a very big place. He was in a place where we pump water from. So I switched off the phone, switched on the lights, put away some phones, and then locked the bedroom. But then I saw that wasn't wise. I opened the door to the veranda to get at least a video, some evidence, because such a number, I knew when they come, they will take out every kind of evidence. So I took a video and sent it to my son and told him, Solomon, these people are here, but this time it's a bigger number, it's a different group. He said, can I post this? I said, please post it. Then I called our other son. I call him son, but I called Dax. Dax is Bobby's younger brother. I called him and said, Dax, this is the end. He said, what do you mean? I said, these people are here. So I locked the bedroom and then I walked downstairs. They had already put ladders at the front of the house. On those stairs, they had put ladders and were climbing to come to the veranda of our bedroom. So I locked the bedroom and walked down. Then I went to the bathroom, the general bathroom downstairs, and I called one of our neighbors. Everyone I called actually picked up very fast. I told him, we are in trouble, please alert the neighborhood. In that moment, they started saying in Lunyankore, Igura. Then I came out of the bathroom and came to the sitting room. They were in the windows. Every window that you see on that house had like 7 people peeping through it. They said, Igura. And I said, Tinkuza Igura. They literally meaning open. And I said, I'm not going to open. Then I sat on the stairs. And they broke the door, broke the windows. A swarm of men, big muscles, height so high, they looked the same. When I looked down, they had almost the same shoe size. That group is a group that is selected. You can see that they selected them according to height, to weight, to size, to color. And they belong from one tribe. They all swam in. At that moment, I looked down on the floor. Then I could see footsteps going to different directions of the house. Some going to the corridors, some going to the lounge, and some bypassed me on the stairs. And went upstairs. Now, in that moment, one of them came and told me, come and sit in the chair. I got off the stairs, I sat on the floor. Because in that moment, I wasn't sure my knees would allow me to stay in the chair. I sat on the floor. So he walked behind me, knelt behind me, and said, give me the phone. And I did this, I gave it to him. Then he said, remove the password. I said, I'm not removing the password. He said, in Runyankore password. And I said, password Kilajihem. Then he walked past me with the phone, went outside, talked to some people, came in with 4 men. Extra. Already the sitting room has more men standing, some with hammers. Each one of them was armed. I have never seen such firearms. New, fresh. So, ignore the other like 40, 50 that were in the sitting room. He called in new people. They came. When they came, he went back behind me. I was wearing my husband's nightie because these days I was feeling like I can't wear my nighties. Something is going to happen in that night. So I was wearing a biker, and on top of it, I was wearing a nightie. So he held the trousers of the nightie and pulled me up. Then he held the shirt of the nightie from the back. He was using one arm. So he held it, then he brought the phone in front of me and said, remove the password. I said, I have told you I will not remove the password. The one that he came with held me in the neck here and lifted me off my feet in the neck like this. So when he lifted me, in self-defense, I kicked him because he was in front of me. So I kicked him in the groin and then he walked away. This one pulled me, the buttons of my shirt broke, and he stayed with my shirt in his hands. Now, I just walked away from them and went and stood in one corner. But remember, this is a house full of men. Some looked away. Some were unbothered. One of them said in Uganda, Nedda nedda mama muddize sata yambali. Then one of them held his hand and walked him out. One of them picked the shirt and said, put up your hands and I dress you up. I said, I can dress myself up, give me my shirt. Gave it to me, I put it on. Of course the buttons were not on. And then I sat down. When I sat down, they lifted me again. Now this time by these, because I play to these when I'm going to sleep. That same man held me by my hair, lifted me up. We have holes in the sitting room and hit my head on the floor. and slit my mouth. So when he hit me, he pulled me down and sat me down. Then he pushed my head and I went down and they sat on me. I could feel 4 bodies seated on me. Then he said, will you give me the password? I said again in Unyankole, you have already done enough. You are not getting the password. There was someone who was like commanding them. He came in, he said, what's happening here? He said, leave her alone. Then I sat. Meanwhile, in that moment, they were already upstairs, creating havoc. The ones who were outside were beating our askari and the other boy that we lived with. Some other group was already in our helper's room, picking her up from her house. Now, they bring her, she's holding her cross and her Bible. She is new, she doesn't know anything. They ask her, where is the controller room of these cameras? She said, I am new, I don't know anything. They bring in the askari. They want to take him upstairs. He says, I have never gone that side. I don't know what's there. They ask him, where is the basement? And he said, I am new here. I know nothing like the basement. They ask him, where are the children? And he said, the children went for holidays after Christmas. Where did they go? And he said, I don't know. So in that moment, they were already picking the camera controllers. They were already picking the MiFi. They were already picking all the phones in the room. They took AirPods, chargers, power banks, hoofers, radios, anything electrical, laptops, everything. These people were drunk. The house was stinking. So in that moment I realized that it was not going to end. They took the girl out, they took the askari out, and then they started asking me, so you brought your brother to run in the Kampala MP seat. Did he win? You think you can just bring foreigners and bring them in Kampala and think they will win in Unyankole? And then another one asked me and says, you got married to a, I don't know what they call a winners. What do they call a winners in English? A winners is like a traitor. It's like the worst person that there can be in the world. He said, you married that traitor of a Muganda. Were you not seeing the Manyakuri? In that moment, I think out of rage, I started feeling dizzy. I started feeling hot. I asked for water. They brought me water. Those same people gave me my water. I drank it. And then the next time I got to see myself, I was sleeping in a pool of vomit on the veranda outside. And they were gone. So it is the askari who drove me out and brought me here. In that whole mix, we still had the police which has kept me under house arrest for 8 days. The other thing they kept asking me was, where is your husband? I told them I don't know where he is. They said, before we beat that round head of yours, where is your husband? I said, you can do whatever you like. I don't know where he is. They even asked the same thing to the askari. And he said, he went to vote, he came back the next day, I didn't see him because I work in the evening, so I don't know what time. That's how it was. But by the time they left, they had broken all the doors. They had broken all the windows. You'll see the pictures. They had pulled down the TV. They had caused havoc everywhere. Pulled my children's clothes out of wardrobes. Pulled beds out of the room. They had scratched the walls. They took anything that they felt was of value. So this group was a group of murderers. It was a group of thieves. They took all my phones and Askari yabadde alina waali kifo kyaffe waliwo woobeera oluusi abantu ne batamanya nti wooli nankubira essimu nga ndi mu nju naŋŋamba abasajja bangi bendaba wano bali mu kuyingira ku luno bagenda kumenya nnyumba. Nabadde maze okulya ekyeggulo nga ntaddewo akataala akatono akawabbali w'obuliri nga nina akatabo k'ensoma. Bwe yakiŋŋambye ettaala ne njiggyako akatabo ne nkazingako ne nva mu buliri. Kati bwe navudde mu buliri ne njagala nzingawo oluggi lw'ekisenge nfulume ŋŋende wansi. Naye bamaze okukiggala omutima ne guŋŋamba nedda ekyo si kyamagezi, nina okubaako ne ka evidence akalaga nti abantu batulumbye kubanga enzija gye bazzeemu nategedde nti basobola kutulekera kamera. Nenziramu nenzigulawo ekisenge ne ŋŋenda ku balkoni y'ekisenge kyaffe nensaba nga abasajja bataddeko amadaala bategeka kulinnya, naye nga waliwo n'abalala abali mu kutambula. Kati abo be nasobodde okukwatako akatono ako nenyingira nenzigalawo oluggi lwa balkoni. Vidiyo nengisindikira mutabani waffe Solomon nemukubira n'omukubira nemugamba abasajja batulumbye. Kati nenkubira ne mutabani waffe omulala Dax lwakuba muyita mutabani waffe naye muganda w'omwami wange, nemugamba Dax kiwedde abasajja bayingidde. Nagamba okay, then nenziruka nenzigulawo oluggi nenzigalawo oluggi lw'ekisenge kyaffe basobole okusigala mu kisenge buyinga time bali abakola ki abayambuse. Naye we nakkiridde amadaala natuukidde mu maaso g'abasirikale bangi nga buli ddinisa limu abasirikale nga 10. Ne baŋŋamba mu Lunyankole ggulawo, ne mbagamba sigenda kuggulawo. Mwako akaseera nensala nengenda mu kinaabiro the general bathroom neneggaliramu nenkubira neighbor waffe omu nemugamba abasajja batulumbye mukuumira amatu ebweru. Kati nenvaayo mu kisenge mu kinaabiro nagenza okutuukira mu ddiiro nga bamaze okukutula enzigi bamaze okumenya amadinisa nga bangi bayingidde. Abamu bayise eno mu korido ne bagenda mu bisenge by'abaana, abalala bagenze mu lounge, abalala ne bagenda mu ffumbiro, abalala ne bampitako ne bampuka amadaala. Nabadde ntudde ku madaala, omusajja omu nantuukirira naŋŋamba tuula wano naye mu ntebe, ne mugamba nedda kantuule wansi kuba nadde mpulira nga sisobola kutuula mu ntebe amaviivi ne gasigala. Ne ntuula wansi nanyimirira wano emabega naŋŋamba mpe essimu yo nenjimuwa bwenti namala naginteeka mu maaso ndowooza yalowoozezza erimu face recognition oba thumb gundi naye yabadde local password. Nagamba jjamu password mu Lunyankole nemugamba sijja gijjamu. Nagamba jjamu password nemugamba sijja gijjamu. Nasituka nagenda nafuluma nayita banne abalala bana ne bajja naddamu nanyimirira wano emabega nankwata empale nadde nyambadde nayiti ya tata Solomon ne bayika kubanga ennaku zino mbadde nina ekyerikiro nga nina feeling kijja kubaawo kuba batwegezezaamu emirundi ebyo. Nansitula babadde basajja bakanyama basajja bafaanagana balina obuwanvu bwe bumu newe nabadde ntunula wansi nga bayitawo ng'olaba balina ne size y'engatto y'emu wadde engatto zaadde tezifaanagana but you can tell nti abantu bano they are certain size, they are certain shape. Kati nankwata nansitula bwe yansitudde mu bbanga bwati eyabadde mu maaso gange nantuga bwati naye nansitula mu bbanga. Kati ono eyambadde emabega nasika essaati ya night nagisika bwati. Kati nagenza okulanga saa kwetawuluza ku basajja babiri kyenakoze nensamba ono eyambadde mu maaso. Bwe namusambye n'atambula kuba namusambye wano ndowooza n'atambula. Kati olwatambudde ono munne nansika amapeesa gona ne gayulika aga night esaati n'agisigaza mu ngalo. Mu sitting room mwaddemu abasajja bangi bwe mbanga nsobola okugeraageranya omuwendo sobola kugamba nti gwe mutuufu naye babadde ng'abasajja 4 oba 5. Akutte ennyondo, akutte omutayimbwa, akutte waya z'amasannyalaze, akutte ekijegere, akutte magalo, akutte ne kati bwe nakoze bwent esaati n'erika amapeesa bwe yasse bwati esaati n'erika amapeesa nentambula nga ndi bwerere nenzira mu corridor ya sitting room mu bbali kati bwe nagenze mu corridor awo mwabaddemu abasajja abamu nga of course kibeesitaza abamu batunudde wabbali abalala ne batunula wansi naye mwabaddemu abadde tebafaayo kati mwabaddemu omu yayogedde mu Luganda naga nedda mama muddize essaati ayambali kati omwami n'anona essaati oli yabadde agisudde wansi omu n'aginona essaati n'agamba awanika emikono oyambale essaati nemugaa nedda mpa essaati yange nja kweyambaza n'agimpa nengizzaamu bwe nagizizzaamu omusajja ono era eyansitudde wano n'ayuza amapeesa n'akwata ebitutwa by'enviiri zange nansitula nantwala paka ku pool mu sitting room yaffe mulimu pool erimu nankubako face nankubako omumwa guno ayulise namala okunkubako nagamba leeta password nemukasijja gikuba ebyoseera byonna twadde twogera Lunyankole kubanga lwe yasazeewo okwogera nansika nanziza wansi neteeka omutwe wansi bantuddeko abasajja nga bana nensirikira wansi awo ne baŋŋamba leeta password y'essimu ne mbagamba sijja kugira waliwo yabadde abakomandi ngaawo omulala nayingira nedda muveeko ne banvaako nensigala nga ntudde awo kati mwako akaseera nawulidde ekibugumu empulira ememe ng'ensinduukirira nempulira ng'emirembe gimpeddeko nensaba ku mazzi ne bandeetera amazzi kuva mu fumbiro nenywako nensaba n'amalala ne bannyongera kati mwekyo ekiseera nawulidde nga sikyetegeera ekibugumu nga kingi lowooza simanyi kyantuuseeko nenzigwamu amaanyi nagenza okwesanga nga neebase ku veranda wabweru neebase mu ndowooza amazzi nagasesemye nga we neebase naye nga buli omu yagenze dda batutte buli simu batutte buli laptop batutte buhufazi batutte power bank batutte charger batutte airpods ne camera system yaffe yona bagisumuluddeyo ne bagitwala ne monitor ne bagitwala ne bamala twagenza okumaliriza bino byonna jjukira nze nadde mu kifo kimu nga asikaali waffe badde bamukubidde ebweru bagenza okumuzza mu nju okumufosinga okubatwala waggulu mu kisenge kyaffe okubalaga bamubuuziza basement eriwa nabagamba ndi mupya wano sirabanga ku basement kati bagenza omumuleeta waggulu nga ndaba atiriiko omusaayi bamumenye n'erinnya yabadde ku mpingo n'omuvubuka omulala era abeera naye kati omuwala era bamugje mu nnyumba ye ne bamuleeta mukazi wate yabadde akutte bayibuli ye ne bamubuuza abaana balagawa n'agamba abaana bagenda naye simanyi gye bali nadde nkyatudde awo omusajja najja nambuuza mu Lunyankole nti muganda wo gwe waleeta okwesimba Kampala Central wali olowooza ajja kuwangula munajjanga abantu eyo mulowooza banaawamba eggwanga bwe bati nensirika omulala najja naŋŋamba agenda okufumbirwa omusajja omutujju omuganda ng'Abanyankole tubalaba era nensirika ebyo byonna byabaddewo of course nga sinazirika naye ndowooza ensonga lwaki byampitiriddeko nga bambuuza bbaawo aliwa embagamba simanyi gyali. Basically it was an interrogation. You could see bazze kutwonoonera kwonoona bintu byaffe naye nga main point badde banoonya mwami Kyagulanyi naye njagala kugumya mwami Kyagulanyi gyali yonna nze ndi mugumu bw'obanga olaba gy'oli nze ngenda okujjayo totawaana dogeza nsonga ndala ze ziba zikujjayo gy'oli yasinze.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tukyaddeko ewa Sheikh Ashraf Dembe.
Sebo nsanyusa okubalaba amannya agange nze Sheikh Ashraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa tunywa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala naneetaase abalwadde enamba yange yeeno eri 0701763711. Nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku ddwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amanyago ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa eyawamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.